Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day, whether you guys are watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening. I'm glad you're here. Today, well, before I get started, I want to say thank you to all the channel members, and thank you to anyone who's come in to check out the knife, the EDC content. I really appreciate y'all. If you're so inclined and you haven't had a chance yet, if you'd please hit that subscribe button and the bell notification icon, it would really help me out. So today is going to be video 4, the final video of case number 3. Case number 3 is my collection of American-made knives, kind of the ones that I keep away from my other knives that have some American mixed in with them. But this was my first real American Spyderco PM2 I picked up. This was a Blurple. It's an S110V Spyderco. I put some sharp dress scales on it. It is super sharp. It's never been stropped, never been sharpened. Could probably use one, but it's run through so much cardboard, so much material. Just a great knife. I really fell in love with the PM2, so much more than the PM3, that early in my collecting, I actually got a PM3 after my PM2, thinking it would fit my hand better. For some reason, everybody tells me I'm crazy, but for some reason, it did not fit my hand better. I'm much more a PM2 guy than a PM3 guy. I let the PM3 go, traded it for something or sold it, I don't remember exactly which, but continued my affection for the PM2. I love the compression lock. I love the Spidey hole. I love the ergonomics. I love the way it fits my hand. I've got a Lynch deep carry clip on this one and some bronze hardware to match. A little bit dressed up. But again, this is my S110V Spyderco Pair 2. Moving on, we come to the second Pair 2 in my collection. And this one's got some Purvis scales on it that are milled micarta. They're really nice. They're kind of hammered. It's got bronze hardware, a lanyard loop stopper that I really like, plugs up that lanyard loop. And then it's got the bronze Lynch clip that matches the hardware. This is a CPM S30V Tanto, right? So it's not a Blade HQ exclusive. I don't know who released this one. I picked this up from another fella in the community, purchased it from him. It is so sharp. So pleasurable because it's got a heavier blade. So to me, it's a little bit more fidgy. The front has got major bite. If I could get the angle right. That front bevel's got bite, guys, trust me. Very piercing too. But the blade's heavy, so it falls shut, snaps open as I fail it. S30V, same wonderful ergos as the Pair 2. You've got this choke up position, you've got the deep handle position, you've got a great reverse grip, you've got what I consider a working man's knife. This knife can do just about anything. This one doesn't have as delicate as a tip as the drop point. It's a little bit more robust, but it's just a sweet knife. I really like it, and this is the Spyderco Paramilitary 2, made in Golden, Colorado, USA Earth, and this is the Tanto version. So moving on, down Spyderco row, we come to this particular Spyderco with a special number on it because I traded Brother Justin, OCD EDC, for this particular Spyderco, and this is wearing some USA-made rock scale designs, just natural raw pattern scales, and it is a Cutlery Shop exclusive in CTS XHP. It is the Wharncliffe. It's a blade that I really wanted for quite a while. Probably my favorite PM2. That's why it's got the titanium scales. These would ride on any of them. But I love the CTS XHP. It's one of my favorite blade steels. I also love the acuteness of this edge. It's next level sharp. And extremely pokey. So just a really great EDC knife. The tip is down close below the pivot, so it's great for those detail cuts. Again, it's great for those piercing cuts. It's great for slicing, great for pull cuts, great for Slurpee saving cuts. And it's a Cutlery Shop exclusive, so it makes it kind of cool being in a CTS HXP. And it's a special Spyderco membership knife, which I know whose member number that is, which makes it that much more special to me. I'm a big fan, love it. Golden, Colorado, USA Earth, my final Spyderco Paramilitary 2. And we move on to probably one of my favorite Spydercos, and this is the Spyderco Manix. And speaking of OCD for EDC, I just recently installed the ball cage lighter spring. I didn't put in my black ball cage. I gave that, I think, to Shane or to Grateful Panic. I had this purple one that I've kept in there, the Flytanium one. But I did put in the ceramic ball and the lighter spring, and it makes it just an absolute joy. It's also got these rock scale design linerless scales that allowed me to take off the jimped out liners that were on the Manix 2, and it made it, in my opinion, a much more comfortable EDC type knife. And when I say EDC, I'm talking urban EDC. This was a Knife Center exclusive. This guy is in crew wear. It's probably right up there with the CTS HXP Paramilitary 2 in sliciness. I'll get too caught up in that. But yes, it is very, very, very slicey. Just a little shredder. Whether you're cutting through cardboard, whether you're cutting through rope, whether you're cutting through cordage. You know, it's just a great, great knife. I love the way it fits the hand. It's a little shorter than the PM2. So if we were going to compare this guy to our Spyderco Paramilitary 2, you're going to see that it's not quite as long, but it's a little bit more robust in the blade. So if we were going to get a quick dimension of that, we would see that we are at 8 1/4 inches on the Para 2. And we are on right about 8 inches on the Manix 2. So a little bit larger knife. I love the Para 2, but I really think the Spyderco Manix 2 fits my hand a little better. I'm more of a fan of this knife, carry it more. And then we come to one of my more aggressive, more unique, more wild Spydercos. And this is my Spyderco Yojimbo 2. This wearing some Knives Plus titanium scales. It's got an MX gear, kind of lavender clip, some lavender hardware that kind of matches that anodizing. It's got a deep, deep hollow ground Wharncliffe blade. This is designed to be a defensive knife, to be a fighting knife. I'm not a knife fighting kind of guy. I'm just kind of a pokey stabby kind of guy, but this would be a pokey stabby type of knife if you were trying to save your Slurpee. But just from an EDC knife, if you're cutting fruit, if you're cutting material, this deep hollow grind is next level sharp. This tip is an absolute laser. I would hate to get stuck with it because it's got a very deep, impending, intimidating Wharncliffe blade. Uses a compression lock like most of my Spydercos do. This one probably has the snappiest detent of any of my Spydercos. It really flies out. But this is a Spyderco Yojimbo 2. It's going to be even a little smaller than the Manix, I think. It's going to come in right at 7 3/4 with a 3.5 inch blade, 3 inch cutting surface, 4.5 inch handle roughly. So they're getting a little smaller as we go on until we come to this next one. That is the Spyderco Yojimbo 2. And then we come to, I think, my biggest Spyderco. This is my Spyderco Cutlery Shop exclusive in CTS XHP. This is my Shaman. It's when, I want to say, Rips Garage Tech fat carbon fiber scales. It's going to be a big boy. It's going to be right around the same size, if I'm not mistaken, as our PM2 in length. But it's going to be a much more robust leaf pattern blade, much more stable tip. Handle's a little bit thicker, but I think that's because of the scales. But this knife is what I consider my work knife, my work Spyderco knife. It is a hard use knife. It comes in right at 8 1/4, 3.5 inch blade, 4.5 inch handle, 3 inch cutting area. Super comfortable, super ergonomic. Like all Spydercos, guys, just therapeutic cutter. Just a fantastic, fantastic knife. And the last Spyderco, uniquely enough, in my opinion, a lot of people argue this with me, this Lil Native is kind of like a Spyderco Micro or a Shaman Micro. I think the lines, the perspective of the knife, I think they look very, very similar in every kind of way except size. The Spyderco Lil Native, this is the breast cancer special edition awareness model in S45VN. Also compression lock. Little small, like I call it, my baby Shaman. An absolute laser beam, guys. Fifth pocket knife, primary carry knife. Either way, it's going to get the job done. It is got great action, falls shut. I've got some micarta scales for this that it wears from time to time, but I put the G10 back on it because they just mean more to me. I love this little knife. It is a winner. They're not that expensive. I want to say they're about 150, 160 bucks. Part of the money goes to a really good cause. Made in Golden, Colorado, USA Earth. Comes in, it's going to clock in probably about the size of a mini bug out. Right at 6 inches, we'll say, with a 2.5 inch blade. A roughly right under 3.5 inch handle with a 2 inch cutting area. So, you know, not a big knife, not a full-size knife, but a very, very able small knife. You've got the wire clip that is reversible, nice G10 handles, dynamite action. Just a great knife. I'm really, really happy with it. Again, I think it's kind of like a baby Shaman. I don't know why I see it that way, but I do. Anyway, I love the Shaman. Big fan of the Lil Native. Glad I picked it up when I saw it. They got a Wharncliffe in this now too. I've not jumped off into Spyderco land much more. But moving on, we come to a knife that I'd been wanting for a really long time. I passed on it at Blade Show 2022. Didn't see it at Blade Show 2023 because I wasn't looking. Picked up the clip off Emerson's website to kind of dress it up a little bit. This is an Emerson Mini A100, right? It's got a thumb disc deployment. It's got this really wacky grind where you've got this kind of saber grind with a edge bevel down here on the front, and then you've got this saber grind that terminates with no edge bevel on the back side. It is very much a cutter, hard use cutter, very thick blade stock. Whoops. So yeah, it's very much a hard use, get it done, start a fire, cut through whatever you need to cut through. Really thick CPM 154 blade, if I'm not mistaken. Made in the USA, 1987, blah, blah, blah. I think it's 154 cm. Titanium liners. It's got a nice thumb disc for deploying it. Or it's got this jimping on the front that you can, I don't think it's designed to be, but you could easily thumb flick that. It's got a Phillips head screwdriver if you want to take that thumb disc off when you're sharpening it. Really nice sharpening choil. Some of the grippiest, textury, nice feeling G10 that I've ever experienced. The G10 on this knife and the neutral handle make it feel like an absolute winner. I'm a huge fan of this little knife. I'm glad I picked it up at Blade Binge. Not something I was initially after, but it was a knife that I felt like the collection needed. It is a classic. I'm a big fan, and this is the Emerson Mini A100. So we will continue moving on, and we will come to the first Spartan Blade Works knife that I found that I liked. And it was this little Plague Doctor series, and this is the 3 1/4 inch, or the small Spartan Harsey Plague Doctor. It's got William Harsey's name on the blade. This is the Plague Doctor, which has the little familiar bugs. You've got the Spartan logo there. You've also got USA. This one's an S45VN. I love the message because this is back when, 2.5, 3 years ago. Do not fear, my dear. You've got the little Spartan logo there with the little bug on it. You've got the Plague Doctor guy there, the biohazard symbol on the pivot. Just really a cool little package. This little knife is a tactical knife. It's by no means a thin cutter, so to speak. It doesn't have geometry made to cut shit. It's more of a stab through shit knife, but it will cut, and it will cut harder materials, probably better than it will paper. I've not sharpened this. I've not put a different edge bevel on it. This is just what it came from the factory with, and I don't plan to put another edge on it. But it is very much a joy to carry. I love the clip. It's just a very simple pressed steel clip or titanium clip, but it goes in and out of pocket very well. It operates on washers, has thumb studs that just really, I can reverse flick this knife with no problem. I can flick it with my thumb studs with no problem, and that's not usually my jam, right? It's just a great little knife, and I love the I guess you'd call it the pattern. So much so that I got a chance to pick up its big brother. So this is the full-sized Plague Doctor. You're going to have the same markings, but you'll probably be able to see them a little better. Do not fear, my dear. You got the Plague Doctor there. This one's in USA Magna Cut. You'll notice the Spartan Harsey, and the year is on the blade, not on the back side of the scale. You've got your 3 bugs there. We'll just call them bugs. Your biohazard symbol. A couple of nice standoffs. This knife matches perfectly the 3 1/4 inch. It just happens to be a full size, and it's in a different blade steel, but the finishes are identical. This one's been carried a little more, so it's got a little more hand goo in the handle, but it's kind of a distressed green with with bronze accents. But this knife is so delightful. It's just heavy, it's chunky, it's a full-size knife, 4-inch blade, just a real banger. I would have no problem carrying this knife as my one and done, knowing that it could do anything from opening a can of rations if I needed it to do that, not that I would, to saving a Slurpee, to getting a fire started, to skinning a little animal. Not that I do that kind of shit, but you know what I'm saying. It would be up for the task. And it's very slicey. It's Magna Cut, heat treated very well, very stabby, very pokey. Just a very nice knife. So guys, that is, no it's not. I thought that was in the end of our case. We've got one more. Save the best for last. The McNees Mac 2, 3.5 inch. This knife is such a flicking joy. It has got some of the best action. It's made right here in my home state. Has a fantastic clip. I've thought about getting a replacement clip, but when I put it in pocket, it just feels so good. Thumb stud activated. Magna Cut blade, atomic finish, drop shut, running on skiffs, deep hollow ground blade. That is an absolute slice of the machine. I mean, a therapeutic slicer, guys. And talk about bite. Very, very impressive. I love this knife. This is probably one of my favorite, definitely in my top 5 USA made knives. I'd say it's probably in the top 2, maybe top 3. It may be right up there behind the Lamia. I don't know, that'd be close. But we've got our Spartan Harsey, full-size Plague Doctor, next to our McNees. We've got a little Plague Doctor. We won't leave it out there. We'll leave room for something else to show. We will show our little A100. And all these videos, guys, are going to be living in the 2024 collection video playlist. Because after I finish this case, which we just did, I'm going to jump into the overflow case, the miscellaneous case, which has got some just random cool stuff that just came late, came early, didn't get rid of. It's had a special reason to stick around for some reason, but there's some neat stories in there and some neat knives. But yeah, we've got the Yojimbo, the Manix 2, and then we've got our 3 PM2s. I'll leave the, let's see, we'll get them on frame here where you can see the end of that PM2. And guys, that is case number 3, the Made in the USA case of kind of my USA bangers. But I hope you all are finding this series somewhat entertaining. I hope it finds some kind of legs. But in either way, I'm glad y'all are here. If you're still here and you haven't had a chance yet, please hit that subscribe button. If not, do me a bigger favor. What really matters is please, please, please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Please look out for each other. Go forward with love in your hearts and choose debate, not hate. I love y'all. Peace.